Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. So far this fall has been awesome, right? We've had really nice temperatures. It hasn't cooled off much at all. My concern with that is we're going to jump right into winter here at some point. But that doesn't mean you got to put away your fishing rods. In fact, for me, that's one of my favorite times to fish for trophy-sized smallmouths is late fall, early winter, before ice up here in the North Country. But guys, anywhere you fish across the country, winter fishing can be some of the best fishing that you can find. And it may mean that you're out there in some pretty nasty conditions, but if you're willing to dress appropriately, grab your striker ice gear, and head out on the water, you've got a good chance at catching a lot of fish. You know, they are grouped up, so you can have a shot at catching a monster fish because they've got weight that they've put on during the fall to get them through the winter. So they're going to be fish at their biggest stage of, of the year. So I've got a handful of baits that work across the country, whether you're fishing for smallmouth, largemouth, spotted bass. It doesn't matter. It works everywhere I've gone across the country. It's kind of just what I like to refer to as heavy metal. You know, I've got a box here. This little box I bring with me in my boat at all times. And I'm going to tell you, this box weighs probably as much as any larger box I have in my boat. It's just solid lead and hooks for the most part. So I want to go through this and pick out my favorite ones that I utilize. And it's just one of those things. I feel like if you're fishing the winter months, you need to have some of these. So I've got no particular order here. I've got a handful of baits. The first one I'm going to talk about is an old standby, the Jigging wrap. This is a Rapala Jigging wrap. There's several other companies that make similar style baits. I have yet to find one that performs as well as the Jigging wrap. You know, they do come in various sizes. This is the Shad wrap, Jigging wrap. You can get longer ones, you can get shorter ones. Guys use them through the ice all the time up here in the North Country, but they've become extremely popular for fishing walleyes in open water. But I'm going to tell you guys, they work awesome for bass. Whether you're casting it or fishing it vertically under the boat, it is phenomenally a good bait in the winter months. You know, snap jigging is a really good way to fish these, or just drop it down below the boat if you see a fish and hold it there at their level to come eat it. You catch a lot of fish, a lot of spotted bass love these things too. You know, they're pretty easy to get up here in the North Country. They're not everywhere down south that I've seen in the tackle shops. If you are looking to purchase some, the real shot here in Wisconsin, who I have an affiliate deal with, has custom colors of these. So colors you're not going to find anywhere else. I think they have Viper tackle do them. Some crazy, crazy colors. So if you do like fishing these, head over to the website. The link's in the description. But they've got all the standard colors as well. The next up, one of my absolute favorites is the Silver Buddy. So we're talking blade baits here. The Silver Buddy is my favorite one. My second and a close second to that is the Steel Shad. This is a bait that's made out of Kentucky, I believe. I believe that's where. Anyways, it's a really good bait. The blade baits are just a good search bait. It gets to the bottom quick, stays on the bottom, creates a nice little bit of vibration when you pull it. It's really good for working down like 45-degree banks or fishing a deep hump where you just want to keep your bait down there and have some action. But it's a really, really good bait for fishing all three species. Again, I've had great success throughout the country on blade baits like the Silver Buddy. Next up, you got to have some spoons, especially if you've got a bunch of shad that are deep in the winter. You got to have some casting spoons. So I've got a couple that I like. This is an old Hopkins spoon. And then War Eagle makes some that are really similar. This is just their jigging spoon. I usually will go with anywhere from a ½ ounce up to like 7/8 ounce size. It just depends on how deep I'm fishing and how much wind there is, really. I'd like to keep this pretty much vertical right under the boat. I will cast it at times as well if I know that I've got fish that are out in front of me, but generally I'm fishing vertically when I know I've got bait and fish underneath me. It's a great bait for triggering strikes. It's a really good bait for getting the fish fired up and then being able to catch multiples or drop other baits down to them. But I really like the old Hopkins spoons. They're probably my go-to when it comes to the spoons, but I do like the War Eagles as well. And then, so so instead of throwing that casting spoon, if I do feel like I've got fish out in front of me because I'm not getting the reaction strikes from the fish that are underneath the boat, I like to go with a tail spinner. I feel like a tail spinner is a really good cross between, a jigging spoon and like a blade bait. It's a good bait to stay down, but it has that good, you can work it really well through the middle part of the water column for those suspended fish that are out in front of you. So I've got kind of two things. I consider the underspin in the same category. So this is just a Blakemore. This is a Blakemore, which is my favorite underspin. This Berkeley's got a really good one too. It's the Fusion 19 underspin. That one works well too. The thing I like with the Blakemore ones is they have really small sizes to them, just in terms of more compact. Like you can get the smaller crappie size ones, which at times work really well on a tough fishery for spotted bass and smallmouth. So I will a lot of times throw the smaller Blakemore underspins. But like I said, I do like the Fusion 19's got a good one. Cool Baits has a really good one. Most companies at this point have a good underspin. I think I prefer the horsey head style, or just some sort of like the minnow style, which is what you get on like the Berkeley Fusion one. But so you got to have an underspin, and so that I consider that kind of the same category as the tail spinner. So the tail spinner, I like throwing. This is a Lunkerhunt one. This is called the Hatch Spin. This one I've had good success down on like Sam Rayburn, and some of those deeper lakes with a lot of timber where you're fishing it down through the timber or around the timber. So I do like this because it's got more of that minnow profile. I have had a lot of good luck as well just with the old, I think they're the Little Georges, like the old school ones. This is a Man's Little George. This is what I start with. I don't throw them nearly as much, but I do think they're good baits. The other one that I really like that's really hard to find is the Cordell Super Shad. And what I like about this is this one's got a plastic body on it, so it's got a much slower fall. So if I'm fishing, a little bit shallower, if I'm not trying to get way down into that 30, 40, 50 foot, I'll go with this guy as a good one. But these are discontinued and really hard to find too. So the point here, guys, is a tail spinner is a really good bait if you know you have fish out in front of you and you're just kind of casting it and bringing it through the water column because they're suspended. I've had some really good luck with them on all three species of bass. But this is the time, guys. The winter is coming. We're going to be fishing some cold weather this winter, I feel like. And you got to have these different heavy metal baits with you if you're going to get out and try to catch some of those wintertime bass, no matter where you're at across the country. Maybe not Florida, but anywhere from like Alabama north, you'll be able to find some good fishing with some deep lakes where you're throwing heavy metal. So I hope this was helpful. I'll be trying to do some breakdowns on a lot of these this fall once I start getting out, show you how I fish them. So you stay tuned for those. But in the meantime, these are the baits you need to get so that when I get out and show you with those videos, you'll have some ready to go and put to use. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned. More videos coming out tomorrow.